I mean, you guys can join in as well. Like, there's no reason we can't do this as a team. But anyways,
We'll see what we'll talk if we think of something, but you're the one who's gonna talk. We're just gonna stand there and make you sound funny, okay?
okay, well, welcome to the NHC Podcast. Basically, what this is a podcast which a group of us natural history buffs, nerds, enthusiasts
Not
have put
professionals.
together. Definitely not professionals. We couldn't get those to join us. But yeah, we're part of like a sort of bigger community as well, that you're more than welcome to join, of course. But basically, the podcast is a sort of outlet that this group of us created, and we'll be discussing various topics. We'll be
Of course,
answering-
all paleo themed.
yes, all paleo themed. We'll be answering stuff in the comments. If you have any questions, we'll like to hold question and answer. Maybe even do artwork submissions. If you guys are, of course, up for that. So yeah, that's really what the podcast is basically about. Everything and anything natural history related.
A lot of it will be paleo media.
Yes.
example,
Oh yes.
documentaries,
Oh yeah.
movies.
Because a lot of us are into paleo documentaries, paleo television, paleo media. So there'll be a lot of that as
paleo
well.
art, that kind of stuff.
Yes. So we'll be tying. You can expect a lot of art discussions, tied in with a fairly varied range of scientific knowledge that we as a group have. So yeah, it should be fun. We've already recorded a couple of episodes, and so we'll be starting off the podcast with one of the best ones. So not the first one we recorded, but this is going to be one of the best ones, where we'll be discussing a very popular, well, not a very popular dinosaur amongst people like us, which is of course Dilophosaurus.
It's
And-
B tier, I would say.
Sorry.
I would say it's B tier, like in popularity, not A or S or but.
Yes, it's B tier. It's B level. It's second. Yeah. But it's gotten some really good representation. There's going to be a lot of discussion about, of course, the anatomy and a lot of studies and scientific discussions. So, without much more to talk about, we'll just start the video, and we hope you stick around for the next ones as well. Welcome, and thank you for dropping by.
And if I see any comment saying, "Oh, why do you say, oh, welcome back if this is the first video?" I'm gonna find you.
Oh god.
Welcome back to episode 2 of the Natural History Central podcast. I am joined with Rexy, who is apparently mute. Philo,
Hello, everybody.
Nick,
Top of the morning.
Yo-Yo,
Yo.
and
Yo.
Armin.
Hello there.
Okay, good. We made it this far. So, what we'll be discussing today is the dinosaur Dilophosaurus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, popular dinosaur popularized by Jurassic Park. I'll be sharing the best depiction thereof, which is easily that from the 2001 documentary When Dinosaurs Roamed America.
Bless.
This one for sure is probably the nicest.
The best.
It's not
of
like
the
it has a
best.
lot of competition when it comes to TV shows.
Well,
I mean,
no,
like-
the only other televised media is Jurassic Park to feature Dilophosaurus. Oh,
Yeah.
although we do
And
have
the
one more.
Australian documentary. The Australian.
Well, no,
documentary.
the Australian the Australian documentary I don't really count it because that's a reused model from prehistoric, the
Right.
Discovery Channel
Right.
documentary.
I thought prehistoric you reused it from
No,
some other.
other way around. Dinosaur Stampede reuses the.
Okay.
Let me see
Yeah.
if I can pull up a picture.
Okay. So then 3 appearances. 3
Yeah,
televised
what-
appearances.
three depictions, let's say, because it's the same depiction.
There
If I
might
can-
be some. There might be some other depictions from some really weird, obscure movies, the low-budget ones.
Yeah,
Probably.
and books. Armin, you have a bunch
Yes.
of these.
Yes, I have a couple. Should I post them now, or should we
Yeah.
start
Let's-
off? Okay.
Let's go.
I believe I have a book with Dilophosaurus as well.
Okay, well, let's start with retro Dilophosaurus art.
I'm going to start with the very first reconstruction of the skeletal,
Go ahead.
which was originally photographed from a paper describing it as Megalosaurus wetherilli. Because back in
everything.
them old days, kiddos, everything was Megalosaurus.
Yep.
Wastebasket text.
Including Proceratosaurus, many different types of theropods actually. So Proceratosaurus, Dilophosaurus, what else is it? Shoot. Well,
Tooth taxa pretty much everywhere around the world. Carcharodontosaurus wasn't.
yes, it was. By
Yeah.
Sabonin
Yes, it
and
was. Yeah.
Sabonin and Depere. And
So yeah, so Dilophosaurus, like a lot of. Just a second, I'm gonna be copy pasting the image.
and I have an image that I want to put in, but
I have the image too. I'm posting it.
I have found
I
my
got the image.
image.
So yeah, so Dilophosaurus is one of the many dinosaurs that have been lumped into the genus Megalosaurus.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the
Original.
original skeletal with a reconstructed skull, I assume.
Yeah,
yes, it is,
obviously.
because-
It's
Yikes.
One
That's
part of
Really,
obviously
actually.
because most of the skull isn't actually
Yeah.
preserved in the original fossil.
Its skeleton as mounted in plaque.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
especially
Um,
considering how it doesn't have the notch.
Yes, the notch,
Yeah.
which is a characteristic of Dilophosaurids and possibly of a lot of basal dinosaurs, meat-eating dinosaurs, because Dilophysis even has a slight notch.
Yeah, but it's
I believe.
way too slight. It's too
Yes,
little.
but I believe.
Yeah, but it does, kinda.
Why though?
the original fossil didn't actually preserve that area of the skull. It only can preserve the corner of the jaw, actually, of the skull.
Yeah,
Right.
quadrato jugo. The quadrato jugo.
Hmm.
Yeah. It was only until
Quadratojugal.
the paratype that was the paratype that was described that we actually had a more concise understanding of the skull, including those iconic double crests on its head.
And then came the retro paleoart, if you want to bring that up, Armin.
Yeah.
Oof.
Basically, artwork from the 90s one of the Dinosaurs series. I'm not sure who the artist is. The magazines don't really credit specific images. And as we found out with the Lion and Pterosaurus, they also sometimes just copy other people's work. So it's
Reputable levels
Yeah.
100.
yeah. The artwork is very questionable. A lot beefier than we nowadays depict Dilophosaurus. And those legs are something else.
Neck is
Oh, man.
awful. It looks
man.
like it cracked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really
Yo.
weird.
Oh my
Bulging
god,
out.
what is that ugly thing? It looks like Varan.
Are you ready
Yeah.
for my
If Hulk was a
Dilophosaurus?
dinosaur, that's what this is.
Oh my god, those legs.
Those legs are
Disgusting.
That did not skip leg day.
yeah.
That is an
It's
awful Dilophosaurus.
interestingly
Someone
enough, they kept the
literally-
design the same for a lot of the series. So this yellowish color they gave it appears later on in artwork that's clearly from a different artist. Basically,
Anyway.
at least in the
go.
earlier issues, they repeated that design. a lot with the yellow body and basically the same
I
color
like that
all
design,
over
yeah.
it.
Look, I will say I do have a soft spot for the retro Dilophosaurus design.
Oh yeah, so do I. I personally
Not
This
the last
design-
one. The last one is goofy as all hell.
You know, that
Sorry,
rat tail though.
but
It has a
that
lizard
head-
tail.
That head on the last one is like when your pizza rolls are ready, or it's
When your pizza rolls are ready.
I just like how it looks like it has a nice smile. He's got
yeah, it's like
when your
it's so
grandma
pure.
tells you you're handsome.
When dinner's ready.
When grandma says, "Do you have a girlfriend?"
Oh god.
Anyways, the basic design, I mean, that one artwork is of course a lot goofier than the other one, except for the legs, but I guess they're kind of covered by the rest of the body in this one. But the design
Yeah.
stuck with me a lot more than the one in Jurassic Park, for example.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, in one of the very late issues, they had a short comic life day in the life of a Dilophosaurus or something like that, where it had a drastically different design, which was equally awkward to look at.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Uh,
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
So
man.
yeah, that's just
that
you.
cliche, that paleo meme red crest.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Classic.
Also,
It looks like a guy in a suit, if you look at it.
it's
Okay,
He's-
I'm
Looks
sorry,
like-
but I'm kind
looks
of
like
concerned.
something.
I just googled Dilophosaurus, and I'm worried by how similar the first result is to that comic. This is the first result on Google.
Oh god.
no. I have that.
Ew.
I once owned that toy.
Shrink
It's
wrapping.
nasty.
Wait, there's
Personally,
another one
I
as well.
prefer-
Hang on,
I
one
prefer
second.
Shrink
collect
wrapping
days.
100.
Or no, I did
Also,
collect
in
it
the,
even make a
in the-
Dilophosaurus
Oh
out of it.
no!
Oh god.
Delete this immediately.
I was about to share that. Yeah, it's a bit
Oh,
of a.
this.
Trying to
Ew.
look for Dorling Kindersley's Dilophosaurus model. A really
Oh yeah,
Good
they have a
Dilophosaurus
pretty
model.
beautiful looking one. It's also blue, and I think it also has a red crest. Again.
I'm gonna go look for it
But
in my
I
many
don't
It's
think it
actually
had the
pretty
red
good.
crest if I remember correctly.
Oh,
It's had the blue,
wait.
beige color sheet.
I'm gonna. Are we talking about this one?
No, I don't. Wait.
no,
Let me
that's a
pull
totally
up a
different
picture.
one.
No,
That's
no,
by,
no, no, no.
Charles Brady.
This
This is not the one.
Oh, I found another yellow Dilophosaurus in my book.
Wait, I found it.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's see.
Kind of
Did you
bad
find
quality.
Dorling?
I'll see if I can find a better image of it.
Yeah.
Ah.
The one on
that's
the
Ah,
bottom.
oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Wait,
That one's
did it
actually
have-
kind of nice because it doesn't have the meme crest.
Yeah, it's a lot more subtle in color as well. It's not as
It's
bright
way too
blue.
skinny though, and the
Yeah.
limbs
It's pretty skinny.
and
Yeah.
So,
those
uh,
legs. Also,
Akira-
oh,
Look at those legs.
hang on.
Also, look at how it's posing its legs like as if it's a supermodel.
Oh,
Yes.
someone covered that up. It's too suggestive.
That's not safe for work, guys. Come on.
Not safe for work.
But
Kids
put
are
fishnets
That's
that
over it.
Dilophosaurus is giant. That
Put fishnets on
Dilophosaurus is
that.
giant.
It
Oh,
is
no,
enormous.
Guys, I'm sorry, guys. Do you know the Bayonetta legs meme?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Sadly.
Oh my god.
yeah,
that
that
neck looks
Dilophosaurus looks like it's doing the pose.
Oh god.
Oh
Never mind.
what? Oh, those are ew.
looks nasty. Vertebrae.
I
His-
don't
his
think
look-
it's possible.
Bruh.
No,
That's
those
not.
are his-
I don't think that looks like. That's more the wrinkles at the bottom of the neck.
Yeah, but what?
That's his
So,
trachea.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a trachea,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
from the looks of it. It would fit with the basic.
Yeah, but it looks.
I mean,
Yeah, but it looks like as if someone took the vertebra and pasted it on the neck.
Yeah.
it just looks like the cartilages of the trachea.
Why does
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
why does the larynx
like,
look
no
like
skin.
that creepy spider from Miss Spider's Neighborhood? We're just getting off topic.
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's counter all of this with a very good Dilophosaurus depiction, going back
Okay.
to the when dinosaurs roamed America Dilophosaurus.
I have my own depiction. It is a work in progress, mind you. Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Oh, it's not bad.
Best Dilophosaur ever.
That
It
looks quite good.
It's actually accurate for the time. Well, like for the time then, and it's actually accurate by today's
Yeah.
standards, and that's actually more accurate. It's, for instance, not just the model, but the Dilophosaurus actually doesn't roar. It screeches. It makes like a throaty sound, which is
Like
in
a
line with
bird.
current evidence because this came out like a decade before people were even suggesting that dinosaurs can roar, which is now a legit hypothesis. So I really like that.
Wow.
It
But
doesn't
not
sound
a-
like a big cat.
Yeah.
Good.
It's scaly. Nothing for or against it. Let's face it. It's quite likely that the very
Yeah,
basal dinosaurs had
Yeah.
some integument, but it is possible that it was lost because it's just a switch. Let's face it. And we've seen it be
And-
gained and lost so often in dinosaur
Yeah.
lineages.
And then
Um,
you have the osteoderms, which actually look very nice on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe this was done in part to suggest a
Yeah.
parallel with Ceratosaurus
Yeah.
because
Yeah, it's
exactly.
very
I
much.
was-
hmm
it's
That's what I was gonna
they
say.
make Ceratosaurus out to be a descendant of Dilophosauridae, which is
Yeah.
not a legit thing anymore, but they're still very
Yeah.
closely related. Like Dilophosauridae is next to Avirostra, which in turn contains Ceratosauria. Also, the size is perfect. The general morphology is really good.
The morphology is just gorgeous.
Absolutely, the
perfect.
animation, the way it moves, is just so lightly built and everything.
It's pretty clean
The
too.
outline is
Yeah.
the outline
Yeah.
looks exactly like that of a skeleton.
Yes, exactly. I
Which
believe
is
this
what
was.
makes it so good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they had Gregory S. Paul. I know they had Paul
Yeah.
do the designs for Dinosaur Planet,
Dinosaur
but I
Planet.
don't know if they had him for this. I don't think it was him.
I do not remember.
Yeah, I think they only brought him on for. I think in this phase it was still just paleontologists and Mark Dubois, who was running Meteor Studios, the visual effects studios, who went on to do as well Dinosaur Planet and all that stuff.
I have my own reconstruction, actually.
Another. Oh, nice.
Okay, let me bring it out. It's a work in progress, so there's a lot that still needs to be worked on.
Watch it
I've
just
done
be
a
a line.
Dilophosaurus too.
And there are only a few specimens of Dilophosaurus, being the holotype, which is somewhat incomplete. There's also the neotype, which is a little more complete, but the skull is still fragmentary, and the crests are still a bit fragmentary too. And then there's another specimen that was called Dilophosaurus breederum, which is a nomen nudum, Pickering in the 1990s, or at least the early 2000s. This is based on a very, very complete specimen with a very complete skull, with the crests attached, unlike the earlier specimens. And it was only published in a magazine article. And as such, there haven't really been many studies on this specimen in quite some time.
Yes, that's another issue with yours, Yo-Yo, which, again, when dinosaurs roamed America, did not fall prey to, which is tooth slippage, which is when the teeth are
Yes.
reconstructed. Basically, tooth slippage is what happens following the death of a dinosaur or any animal. When the gums decay, the teeth slide out of the sockets, and this makes the teeth seem larger. And a lot of people reconstruct them as they are seen in the skeletal.
especially-
I am in fact guilty.
Especially anti-lip people.
Yeah,
It's one of
yeah,
the
and it's often used
reasons
as an
why
argument
people-
for dinosaurs not having lips,
Yeah,
saying the teeth would
It's
be too
wrong.
long. But yeah, I mean, whether or not dinosaurs had lips is another argument. But using the teeth on skeletons is an issue because they don't take into account tooth slippage.
Yeah,
Just like how T-Rex didn't actually have teeth the size of a banana; they were probably just like a third that size. The visible part.
So
at least.
yeah,
That's a very nice Dilo. Oh,
So
that's
even
the broken finger one.
The holotype actually.
Oh, is it the holotype that has the broken finger?
Oh
and
yeah.
that's Dilophosaurus.
okay,
Nice.
there's a bit wrong with that face. The lower jaw's like way too deep into it.
Yeah,
lips.
there
So-
shouldn't be an overhang.
It actually has lips. So
Yeah.
the jaw looks a lot.
overbite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving back to the When Dinosaurs Roamed America one. There is one thing that it does, which is again way ahead of its time, which is there's a scene where it attacks an Ankylosaurus, and it grabs it with its jaw and uses its claws to slash and cause great wounds, which is actually in line.
Yes, and now
That's
this is
100%
the main
accurate.
subject.
Yeah. Now,
Unlike what
using
some
the
people
claws,
believe.
using the claws for prey dispatch is in line with studies. For instance, there is a 2015 paper, which I'll link in the description, on Australovenator, which emphasized the fact that using hands to dispatch prey was sort of an almost ancestral condition in large predatory dinosaurs, with Dilophosaurus having hands suited for dispatching prey. This is I believe a 2012. I don't remember the date because there have been so many papers about Australovenator. But yeah.
And
So
now
this is
on to
entirely
the
accurate.
main topic.
Now, our fellow King Rexy here posted a video of Dilophosaurus, and a lot of the comments were about how Dilophosaurus had a weak bite and would have likely eaten fish.
Which is a misconception.
It's
Which
a
is
very
huge
common
misconception.
It's not so much a paleo meme because it's not often depicted. It's not like something found in paleo artwork, but it is a misconception, and it stems entirely from Wikipedia. It started in Wikipedia,
no,
and
not
everyone
just
just repeats it.
Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Not
but
just
why
Wikipedia,
though?
True.
It's from it's
Yeah.
mainly from books. Like I have lots of books, like very old retro books, kind of like the magazines that Armin posted, and all of them state the same thing: that Dilophosaurus's jaws were too weak, that it couldn't bite, it couldn't use them, or something like that. Like exaggeration.
Okay.
This is where the misconception comes from. The books.
Yeah, the magazines did something similar because the issue that initially showcased Dilophosaurus make several mentions of it having a weak bite and thus being most likely a scavenger.
Yeah.
It's
Okay. So the scavenger hypothesis is hand in hand with a weak bite, and both of these stem from one single source: a 1984 paper by Wells describing Dilophosaurus.
Oof.
That's the only argument ever put forward in published literature about Dilophosaurus having a weak bite.
Suspicious.
1984. Okay, so in 1984, Wells argues that the tooth gap, the tooth notch, would have hindered in bite force, and that would have used its teeth to like pick out and food from already killed corpses.
The thing is, it's like the largest predator, and it's like
Yeah.
an apex predator.
Oh, there's more. In 1986, however, Robert Bakker finds that Dilophosaurus was actually very well adapted due to its skull and the large teeth. He's claimed that it was well adapted in his book in the Dinosaur Heresies. And in 1988, Gregory S. Paul agrees and found that the skull was actually very well equipped for taking down prey. This was in the book Predatory Dinosaurs of the World. Now, in 2005, people actually did, Canadian paleontologist François Terrien and colleagues did a study that actually took into account the biomechanics of it and found that it had a pretty strong bite force. Not, exceptionally strong by large theropod standards, like no rival to something like a tyrannosaur, but still strong enough to actively hunt prey. So there's only ever been one source arguing for a weak bite, and all subsequent sources have argued for strong bite. So Dilophosaurus did have a strong enough bite to take down prey.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the very first, unfortunately, the idea of weak bite has pretty much overshadowed the whole strong bite.
Yeah. Now, the other hypothesis that made by Kirkland and Milner in 2007, which argues that Dilophosaurus was adapted for eating fish. I feel one of the reasons why this is so popular is that it is the last source given on Wikipedia for its feeding, and people latch onto that. I myself did several years back when I was into Dilophosaurus.
Same.
Because there's no more recent source. So just glancing through it, you assume this is the latest and therefore the most accurate one.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't
I
help.
decided to actually click and download the PDF recently. Okay? And you may be shook. Just a second,
Okay.
let me find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one reason is also that many people see the notch and, of course, naturally make the connection to Spinosaurus. for
Spinosaurus, yeah,
example.
yeah.
Oh, you don't understand. That's literally the entire argument made by Kirkland. The only argument.
Oof.
This is the entire source for fishing Spinosaurus. 3 bullet points.
Let's read this.
Like,
Oh, they have long arms, guys. They have long arms.
oh, wow.
So that means
Well, Dilophosaurus'
fish.
nasal openings are retracted back from the front of the jaws, just like Spinosaurus.
coincidence.
The
I think
jaws
not.
have Dilophosaurus has a notch, just like Spinosaurus.
That means fish.
Literally, and that's it. Just it kind of looks like it has features that kind of look like a Dilophosaurid, like a Spinosaurid. So clearly, it ate fish.
Well,
Yeah, it's...
That's it. That's literally
Very
it. I can't say anymore.
they both
It's-
have arms, so just
Now,
saying.
I'm not attempting to put down Kirkland's claim or their claim because it's a perfectly valid bullet point argument as part of a larger leaflet. Okay, it's part of a survey note. It's an article from 2007. That's all it is. It's part of an article from 2007 on the environment of the area. And I'm not saying they've failed or done bad work because their work is fine. It's just being taken out of context and being treated like gospel.
Yeah, it seems a bit blown out of proportion, really.
Exactly. Yeah, it's blown out of proportion. It's just 3 aside comments, and that have led to a misconception because of people blowing them out of proportion. So yeah, so that is pretty much in conclusion the misconception that it had a strong bite. And one last point. Interestingly enough, people often make an association between the weak bite and the fishing, which interestingly enough Kirkland never makes. It's not actually argued by anyone that the weak bite led to fishing.
Yeah,
So-
that doesn't really make a ton of sense either.
Yeah. So overall, it's a misconception, and the majority of studies show that Dilophosaurus had a strong bite, and none of them have indicated an inclination towards fishing. Whilst it is highly possible and not incorrect to depict Dilophosaurus fishing, in my opinion, because it was a large predator
Same.
and it did live at the side of a lake, it would most likely be a bit of a generalist.
As a lot of theropods are.
It may even have
Yeah.
scavenged as well, because a lot of large predators do that. Especially,
Every
But
large
then-
predator.
People
Only
always act like carnivores are either active hunters or just scavengers, when really a lot of scavengers also hunt and vice versa.
Yeah.
Why only one?
Hyenas, for example, traditionally often depicted as pure scavengers, are active hunters.
Oh, yeah.
While lions,
Yeah.
which are often depicted as the big hunting animals of the savannah,
Yeah.
scavenge just as much, if not more, than hyenas do.
yeah.
Every carnivore pretty much hunts and scavenges.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be only one thing.
It's very rare to be an exclusive. Like it would
Yeah.
really need to be a big adaptation,
Like,
and it's not. And there's no terrestrial one that does so either. Like the only pure scavenging large predators are vultures, I believe, at best. And they have
that's
flight,
because,
and
well, because
Even
of the
vultures
flight,
are pretty
they-
diverse in parts in their diet.
Yeah, but like there is
Yeah.
one species, I'm sure, of vulture that will only scavenge because it can. It can fly pretty much effortlessly and can cover great distance.
and not waste
Needed.
and not waste much energy on it.
Yeah.
Unlike a dinosaur, which would have to run the distance.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, in conclusion, it's just a misconception about Dilophosaurus. Fishing is not an inaccuracy, but it's not the rule. It's not the only thing it could do. And a weak bite
And
is,
biting-
as it currently stands, an
Yes.
inaccuracy.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
So
Should we
there
talk
you
about
have it.
Yeah,
the
there we do.
Misconception
Dilophosaurus?
has been
Well, let's just discuss the one last paleomedia appearance that Dilophosaurus has made, which is the Jurassic Park one.
Oh,
God.
what fun
One
this
of
is
the
gonna
best.
be.
Are we talking about the movie or the book? Because the book.
Let's talk about the
is-
movie.
Okay.
Because
that's
let's
more
face
famous.
it, the book is not something like I think I'm one of the few people to actually read the book before the movie, for instance.
I did read the book, but I was a bit young, so I don't really remember much.
Same.
I mean, even
Oh,
if you read
God.
the book, Dilophosaurus isn't exactly a dinosaur that plays a huge role. I think I have 4 mentions maybe of it, and only twice it actually appears. One when Nedry is killed, and the second time on the river cruise when we
Yeah.
see the mating behavior. Other than that,
Also,
I
this
think
is,
I have a mention during the tour, and later on when they mention how Venom is poisonous, which also is just an offhand comment in regards to we breed dinosaurs and we don't really know what they can do. See Dilophosaurus.
Yeah. So
So
there
yeah,
is
about
a
the
couple
Jurassic
of
Park
inaccuracies.
I mean, let's
couple.
like ignore inaccuracies because
Well,
you know, it's
well,
Jurassic Park,
okay.
and
One
it's-
inaccuracy would be the. Let's just state them. This isn't a criticism. We must acknowledge that science moves on,
yeah,
and that there were some creative liberties. Let's face it. It's not a
Yeah,
bad thing.
like the
It's
size.
better
Yep.
that we own up to it. So the
Yeah.
notch is absent.
Yeah.
That is one thing. It's not a big deal though. It's not
Yeah.
There's an
the Dilophosaurus' most defining feature.
Yeah,
The frill is inaccurate in my opinion because you would have some sort of, at very least, muscle attachment, and considering it's like a frilled lizard, I believe the bones are arranged in such a way to support a frill.
yeah.
Yeah, and also
Mhm.
it's a juvenile. It's
Yes.
supposed to be a juvenile, and why would it start mating
Well,
when
Yeah,
it's a
we
it's
like
juvenile?
to get to
been-
that point.
It's
We'll
been
get to that
retconned.
point.
Yeah. Okay. The crests are fine, I believe. The crests are fine.
Think so?
Embellished,
Well-
but fine. That could be keratin.
The Venom.
But you know about
about
the
that?
Oh, the
about
Venom.
the frill. About the frill, I
Yeah.
think it's kind of okay.
It's
to,
okay.
like,
Yeah.
put a frill on it. It's completely fine. It's you can do that sort of stuff, and a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people that don't really like it for adding the frill, which is kind of funny. But basically, it's a sort of criticism.
All right.
There's also the specimen
Um,
that they based.
how about the Venom?
And the
Oh.
Venom, honestly, I think is okay as well. If you look at the concept art for the series, you will notice that they actually gave them like these weird bulbous structures on its neck. Like if you look at the concept art, they have these large red sacs, something like that. Like they're supposed to be venom
Right.
glands, and they're on its neck. So it was originally supposed to have these glands, and they would contain venom, and it would, spit them, kind of like a snake. And that's also completely fine.
Right. Yeah, I'm fine with the Venom. It's the more speculative, and it's the less. I don't
Yeah.
mind it as much. No.
It's very interesting though that the Dilophosaurus venom is heavily built upon in the movie and focused on, while technically they did do this with more dinosaurs in the books. The Procompsognathus, for example, was said to have a
Yeah.
slightly venomous bite in the books as well, which was essentially ignored in the Lost World.
Yes.
Mm,
I'm kind of fine with that
Now, shall we-
because you might want to, because I think it's best to like focus that one trait on one creature of yours and not on another.
True.
Yeah, but venomous bite and spitting venom, it's kind of different.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's discuss the fact that it has been retconned, I believe, as a juvenile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically got to do with the fact that people basically kind of like the idea of a big size Dilophosaurus more. So they retconned it as a juvenile. The real one is almost the same size. I think it's pretty much the same size as the Velociraptor in the sequel.
Yeah, it's a real Dilophosaurus is about human height, yeah.
Yeah.
Not hip height, at least, but head height for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like saying it's a
And-
juvenile, it's kind of an excuse for making it that small.
A lot
yeah,
of the
it
retcons
was.
are excuses, yeah.
It
I mean,
was.
we have
It's
the
just people
Spinosaurus
gotta-
retcon, which I don't like. There's a lot of retconning. And I'm not a
Some
fan of that.
retcons are
Yeah, me neither.
some retcons are
say
good,
in the
some
movie
are
at least.
not.
Stick to your guns. If you do it, stick
Yeah,
to your guns
exactly.
and stop
Yeah,
retconning
yeah.
things.
And
If you
science,
start going back to inaccurate designs and start, oh no, it's because this and this,
Yeah.
then you think, what's the point even? Are we gonna
Yeah.
get Jurassic World 3 and go say, oh, the baryonyx looks like this because this and this? Especially now that with the new movies they make more and more mistakes. Tail dragging Stegosaurus, for example. Are we gonna get
they're
a
all
retcon for
hybrids,
that
apparently.
one?
I guess we're just going to blame them all on hybridization,
Probably.
which again is poor, in my opinion. Just have them be It's. Yes, okay, it would kind of make sense from a real world point of view to fill in gaps in DNA with real world substitutes. But
Why not birds though?
Jurassic Park is was, and the book was all about creating entertaining, and the movie, especially the reason Spielberg did it was because it was like Jaws, but with bringing actual science and not just monsters. That's why he signed on to do it. That's what the appeal was. And I feel like if we turn it all into hybrids and make excuses for making them more and more monstrous or getting more and more inaccuracies, you're
Yeah.
kind of throwing away the ideology, the ideas, and the passion and the motivation behind the first Jurassic Park. And whilst it's okay
charm
within
of the
canon,
Jurassic.
although obviously canon can evolve, you're betraying the core ideas of the first film.
Yeah, it's very noticeable
sure.
if you go actually through the first, through the original JP trilogy, when you actually see how I at least try to be progressive with each movie.
I
We
mean, the
have, of course-
Spinosaurus is accurate for the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. The first
Yeah.
movie heavily bases it on the dinosaur renaissance. We have comparisons to
Yeah.
birds everywhere. The second movie then goes into further detail how dinosaurs were more caring parents with the T-Rex.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Basically
More about the
Behavior.
society.
Exactly,
than
yeah.
The
society.
behavior.
behavior. And
Yeah.
the third movie, on the
animal
other
they
hand,
are.
it goes with Spinosaurus as a top predator, which we know is outdated and inaccurate. But it was an
But
attempt
it
to go
was-
with the times, and there was
Yeah.
also an attempt with the raptors, with the feathers, with the quills. Of course,
few quills.
it's a very poor attempt, given that we know
A
and
few
already
little
knew
quills.
at
Let's
that point
face
that
it.
they had way more.
Yeah, but let's face it, they did also have the issue of budget, and you couldn't make it realistic. It wouldn't have been realistic.
Yeah,
And I'm happy because Jurassic Park 3 has some of the most realistic CGI I've seen in anything.
yeah.
Yes.
So-
Cecil
Yes.
Trachtenberg, or I don't know how it's pronounced, Good Bad Flicks pointed out very well how at times you have CG and practical effects in one shot and it blends perfectly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
So,
By the way,
and
this is
they do
getting
have
a
the
little
quills.
off
It's an
topic.
indication. Sorry.
This is getting a bit off topic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back
true,
to Dilophosaurus itself.
Yeah.
One thing
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to bring up in the context of retconning it as a juvenile is that was already done in 2012, 2015, around the time. I don't know if it was brought up in original or in Primal Carnage Extinction, but basically,
It was in
Primal Carnage
Yeah,
did
it was
use
in
that
Rock
same
Barbie.
idea with Dilophosaurus being venomous for the gameplay
Yes.
and retconned it in the lore, but it didn't retcon it. It basically put the lore that it is a juvenile that uses the venom as a defense until it grows up. And
Yeah, but why would it lose it? Why would it?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Like
I don't
one of
fucking
like
know.
I don't know. I'm wondering if it's inspired by this kind of the birds that use projectile
Yeah.
vomit.
The
Yeah.
crest, though, like the crests. Why does it have such big crests when it's juvenile?
Yeah, this specific model is a royal skin, so the base
Okay.
model for it has a much smaller skin. Wait, I'm gonna pull up a picture of a regular Dilophosaurus from the game. Hang on a second.
I found it one. Should I share it? Okay, yeah.
Oh
That
god, the
looks
legs.
A bit floppy.
I mean, I think that's pretty inaccurate. Let's face it, just from what we know, because wouldn't they have grown backwards, like from
Yeah.
the tip of the snout, a bit like Guanlong or something? How the juveniles have tiny crests near the front of the skull.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have just like expanded vertically like Pokemon transformation, but there was a gradual. But yeah,
Yeah, just thought I should bring this up, considering it's the same basic idea before people
yeah.
start.
No, we're discussing Dilo, so that's good. I'd forgotten I was in Primal Carnage. A lot of the game, that's why I don't like. A lot of games have Dilophosaurus with spitting.
Yeah.
Jurassic
Like,
Hunted.
I remember as a kid I used to play the Ice Age 3 video game, and that had spitting Dilophosaurus for no reason.
Same.
Oof.
I love that
Yeah.
game.
Never
I
played
liked it a lot too. Yeah, but the
I
spitting
think-
Dilophosaurus frustrated me, to be honest.
Yeah. I think one
To
of
be
the
honest,
worst
every
offenders
time-
might just be Ark.
Oh, Ark.
To be honest, every
Ooh.
time I see
Oh.
a spitting Dilophosaurus, it kind of cringes me because I think I prefer it to be unique to Jurassic Park.
Same.
It
I
almost
agree with you
feels
there.
like
Concept.
ripping off.
Yeah,
It almost
totally.
feels like
Yeah.
ripping off. It takes
Exactly,
away
yeah.
the uniqueness.
Exactly.
Because
Oh,
it's not
yeah,
even a
Ark,
paleo
I love-
meme in the sense
Oof.
that somebody proposed it. It's literally just, it was made up for the book, put in the movie,
Yeah.
and everyone just copied it from that. It's not even like it has a source in the real world for it.
If something gets famous, everybody follows it. I don't know why, but it's
Well,
something that famous
Yeah,
and
that's actually
everybody follows it.
I might know the answer to that from personal experience. Like when I was a bit younger, when I didn't know that scientific papers existed, you wouldn't really know where to go, like what the anatomy of a dinosaur is supposed to be like the whole
Oh,
thing
yeah.
about it. Like you have no idea. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna search it up. You're gonna go on, probably on the internet, and you're gonna see
Yeah.
its depictions. And when you look at them, you don't really know what's accurate, what's not. So you'll just
True.
pick
No,
anyone that you think is right. And
I'm
sometimes it's
happy
also
that I
got to
didn't-
do with inoriginality.
I'm
I mean,
happy that I never used Google Images for that. I just stuck to Wikipedia.
I remember a long,
I
long
would
time
al-
ago, I used to use Wikipedia for every dinosaur or anything.
I will use
I know, yeah, I did too.
Same. I would just use Wikipedia for everything. Like my computer, the moment you start the web browser, that's the page. It's not like Google homepage, it's Wikipedia. I would just go online for Wikipedia. It was amazing, and it still is. Now that I know how inaccurate a lot of the dinosaur pages are, it kind of
Yeah.
ruins it for me. But I always have and always will stand by Wikipedia. I like it a lot.
Yeah, but as Rex addressed just now, with people just copying off Google Images,
Yeah.
and that's how ideas spread. I mean, I can see the point if it comes to paleo memes in art, but I don't think it's a good excuse when it comes to stuff like Venom and Dilophosaurus, because
True. Yeah.
Jurassic Park did it, and I highly doubt that.
it's
I
actually
think a game
it's actually
company
kind
could
of the
put
same
more
thing.
effort into it than just, oh, Jurassic Park, I'm gonna copy that. I think
Yeah.
that we have to expect a
True.
little bit more of a company. If it's just some random
Everyone
artist,
can do it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we should have a higher standard for such a thing. You can't just say, oh yeah, game company, it looked on Google and it took the first image it found and ran with it.
Exactly.
We have to
Yeah.
put up a higher standard for such a thing. If it's some artist on DeviantArt or somewhere, I don't care. Of course
There's
they're
a
gonna
difference
Google image.
between
I can
a
understand
concept.
that. I can understand it if it's a small artist, but if it's a company, you can't do that.
There's they are promoting this has become the public image of Dilophosaurus.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, the arc one is ugly.
Pretty much everything from Ark is
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Carno
actually
is a bit okay.
Yeah, the Carnus models are better models. I mean, there's of course models that are better than others, and some that are just terrible.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
designs of it.
Yeah.
The quality of the models isn't that bad actually.
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, it's not what I'm wanting
But
to get
the
at.
designs are just
Feature design, yeah. For example, I mean, even addressing the inaccuracies of the Carnotaurus, I would say it's good creature design.
Yeah.
When on the other hand, you have people who would draw an accurate Carnotaurus and it looks pretty bad, just because it's bad creature
Getting
design.
a bit off topic now, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now this is like about paleo at this.
Yeah.
We gotta have
is
an
honestly a
episode
good
about
topic.
Ark and stuff.
Yeah.
We really do.
We should do like a video game episode for different video games. We could do, of course, the
boy.
cursed one.
Which
You know,
cursed
the
one?
There are many cursed ones.
The one with maximum wood.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's the Isle.
Yeah.
There's Saurian. There's Beast of Bermuda.
also.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
we can kind of lump the Isle, Beast of Bermuda, and the new one, Path of the Titans.
And then there's
They're all
Ark.
connected. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Primal
yeah.
Carnage, Turok, all that stuff.
Synonym.
Getting back on topic, I mean,
Yeah.
what we could bring up, I don't know much about Dilophosaurus, Phylogeny and stuff, but Dracovenator, Dinosaurs, maybe you know something more about it than I do.
What is there? There's a bit of a mix-up
Dracovenator.
with... Dracovenator is fine.
Yeah,
it's-
I think Dinosaurs is the one.
It's a
That's-
Dilophosaurus. Sinosaurus and Dilophosaurus sinensis are a bit mixed up.
They're very
Because
close to
they're not the same. They're like a case of animals that Sinosaurus triassicus and Dilophosaurus sinensis are in no way the same thing, I believe, with like substantial differences between the skulls and all that.
Oh, really?
Yes, like
Can we
It-
get
there-
an image?
I know people. We need to invite someone onto this podcast because it's not my strongest suit, the Sinosaurus thing.
Yeah.
But unnamed, basically, Sinensis is probably a distinct genus from Sinosaurus triassicus.
I would agree.
As I said, I don't know anything about this in particular, so that's why I ask in the first place.
Don't ask me about classification and stuff, because I am so bad at this stuff. Like,
I am so good at it, except I don't know much.
I mean, it heavily depends on some groups. Some are more clear than others. I mean, that's just
My
Some-
job
some-
is to not know much.
it's
But
basically
honestly,
what you
that's-
research. It's what you're interested in. You know.
Yeah.
You know this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Leg.
Okay, well, what I am like, okay, well, one last, since we brought up Dilophosaurids, now we moved on. I'm really looking forward to the paper that will describe Creolophosaurus as a Dilophosaurid.
Oh yeah.
Because
as a
Creolophosaurus-
substack in that group now.
Cryolophosaurus, as it currently stands, is a basal titanuran,
Yeah.
so slightly more advanced than Dilophosaurids. Well, way more advanced because Dilophosaurids are neotheropods. It's quite a bit further down in Titanura. But they found new remains, including like 2 new skull remains and
Oh, really?
post-cranial remains. Yeah, there's a lot, and it
I'll be
apparently
drawing
proves
that.
it's a Dilophosaurid. And since we've been speaking of the new exhibit, we spoke about that in the previous one. We spoke about the Field Museum's Dinosaurs of Antarctica exhibit, which will also get a tie-in IMAX documentary soon. They've based their Creolophosaurus on the as yet unreleased research, which is why it looks very Dilophosaurid.
Yeah. It does look very
It looks
Dilophosaurus.
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It's basically a larger Dilophosaurid with a different crest because.
I didn't know it had such a long neck. Wow.
Yeah, it has.
Well, that's I think largely hypothetical because the remains are like we don't even have the front of the skull. The notch is based on Dilophosaurids.
Oh,
Actually,
The
that's a
premaxilla.
lot of neck vertebra.
yeah.
That is a lot of neck vertebrae, but I believe
Yeah.
that's based on Dilophosauridae.
I wanna count these.
Yeah, I'm trying with 1, 2, 3, 4. 9 vertebrae, I think. 9,
Nine or-
yeah.
Wow.
Jeez. Neck for days.
Neck for days.
No, so that's cool stuff in the Dilophosaurid family, and I would love to see them get more love because, as
Yes,
popular as
please.
Dilophosaurus is, it is really the Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus that is
It's
popular.
not really Dilophosaurus.
Yeah.
It's just the name. It's
Yeah.
not really the
And-
dinosaur.
The Jurassic Park design, so I would love more fame for the entire family. They're really awesome animals.
True.
Oh yes, the Sinosaurus did get some love in that Japanese documentary called Leaps in Evolution, but it wasn't enough. It was just a few minutes.
Is that Sinosaurus? I could have sworn that's Yangchuanosaurus. Is it?
No. There's a Sinosaurus. Let me get a picture.
Yes, please.
It's kind of pretty much like a more bulky version of the Jurassic Park
Yeah.
Dilophosaurus. But I was a bit happy to see it.
Oh
instead
yeah,
of
I
Dilophosaurus.
can imagine.
Yeah, that's
Obscure.
the thing I wanted to talk about. There's if you use the same skeletal reference, two people would do it a different way. One would be super bulky, and one would be
Yeah.
quite skinny. And the muscles, they're not really that different if you take them. But it's really interesting how you can change the animal so much using the same
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah, I mean, fun fact: the putting flesh on the bones wasn't actually a part of dinosaur science up until the early 1900s, I believe.
Really?
Yeah,
That's why
and
you
it
call
only
it
took
dinosaur
off.
science and not paleontology.
Well,
Now it's a huge
Um,
part of paleontology.
yeah.
Oh wow!
Now
That looks interesting.
paleobiology is a huge part of paleontology, and it only started with Franz Notcha,
Thank
the
gosh.
Hungarian, I believe Hungarian. Yeah, the Hungarian paleontologist who described Hartseg Island and all of that stuff. He was the first guy to actually try and deduce physiology and the behavior of dinosaurs, and he was the first guy to actually suggest that they lived in groups and had social behavior. And this was only the early 1900s. So
That picture, by the way, I really love
Yeah.
the neck. How do you even call it?
what the
And that
reconstruction?
is-
Yes,
You
I
love.
saw the claw as well. That's the first thing I went to.
Oof.
Looks very
What is
bulky
that?
in comparison to any other Dilophosaurus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
like-
Yeah. No,
Basically,
the
It almost
remains
looks
are
like,
very.
dare I say it, Jurassic World hybrids, to be honest.
yeah. It
Ah,
does look
yes.
something like that.
It's actually better than most of the hybrids if it is one.
It has red crest
Like-
and it's blue
Fair
though.
point.
We're talking about the Indominus, right? It's kind of
I
The
know.
Indominus is
Not
boring.
the Indominus, please.
okay.
I like it.
I know it looks
Okay.
bulkier than the Indoraptor. If that's,
Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. Like I said, NHK documentaries have amazing CGI quality.
Oh yes. Oh no, it's
Indeed.
Japanese documentaries have pretty much.
They're
the
all
best
NHK.
CGI when
They're
it
all
comes to-
NHK.
Yeah.
And then they pull
Yeah,
out
they're all
the
NHK.
scaly troodon. And then they pull out the scaly troodon.
Oh
oh,
god.
no.
Go on.
The documentary kind
Oh,
of
Ew.
takes
look how they massacred my
Ew.
boy.
takes a dip. The
Ew.
documentary kind of takes a drop, like it goes a bit downwards. It slopes downwards when you get to the Cretaceous. The Cretaceous is when the documentary becomes a bit hard to watch.
But like, I mean, I've seen the bits with the Yangchuanosaurus and
Yeah, the Yangchuan. Oh yes,
All that.
it also has a Gigantospinosaurus, which I'm pretty sure-
Gigantospinosaurus.
Yeah, which I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that most people who've played Jurassic World Evolution know about.
Yeah, and
It's
everyone who
basically-
doesn't, just gonna assume it's just a giant Spinosaurus from the name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
But
a very
yeah, given it-
unfortunate name, let's be real.
yeah.
Anyways,
It's pretty much
since-
Space Godzilla. It's pretty much quadrupedal Space Godzilla.
Yeah.
anyways, now that we've gone a bit off topic, let's just wrap this up. So this was
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Our
think
episode
we've
on
said everything
Dilophosaurus?
that could be said.
Yeah.
needs more representation as a real animal and beyond just
True.
the name and the
Certainly.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's an awesome
definitely.
Yeah.
No red crest though. No red crest.
Yeah, no red
Yeah.
crest.
Make it a different
Oh, yeah,
color. I command you.
the Sinosaurus from this Sinosaurus, it's actually got red stripes on the crest rather than a completely red crest, and
That's an interesting design, a patterned
Yeah.
crest.
and
Yeah,
then it
it's-
has
It's kind
Yeah,
of grey with white and red stripes.
Yeah.
The same thing goes to
Yeah.
the back where it has white stripes going down the side and a little bit of purple just behind
Purple,
the
yeah.
crest.
Yeah, no, I like that. Anyways,
Looking at the
that was
design,
it.
I'm starting to like it more.
Yeah.
Wrapping
I
it
Well,
up.
that
think
was it.
We've
We've
about
exhausted the topic.
covered everything. Dilophosaurus has been used enough.
So what will be the topic
And-
for the next podcast we do?
Ooh.
We'll have to wait and see.
Pakis to
We
Jimolok.
don't know yet. Hope well you'll find out in the next one next week.
Oh god,
I'm
suspense.
not gonna
Yep.
tell you.
Yeah.
Yep, gotta watch next week's. Right. Well, see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Carbon-based organism.
Okay, so this is just a short comment we'd like to make about what we discussed earlier in this video with regards the Dilophosaurus sinensis and Sinosaurus triassicus.
Basically an
China-
update.
Yeah. Basically, a few days after we recorded the episode on Dilophosaurids, an abstract came out. An abstract is basically like a sort of blurb for an upcoming either talk or paper. This
Basically a
is
summary, you could say.
yeah, like a summary. It's in short, and this is a summary of a talk that of an upcoming talk at the Canadian Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meeting. And basically, what this abstract says is that Dilophosaurus sinensis, Sinosaurus triassicus, and another Dilophosaurid from the same area, Schwangbaisaurus, which was named recently in 2017. All of these three are actually the same animal, is what it says. And not only that, but this one animal, which would be named Sinosaurus triassicus, as that is the first name given, all of these three are actually coelophysoids. They're not actually Dilophosaurids at all.
It should also be noted that the paper implies or suggests that the difference could be to the sexual dimorphism, which I think is really cool.
Yes. Yeah, because there is quite a lot of difference in the skull, but very interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to see more info on this. Not just from the talk, but I'm always hoping that they'll get a paper out sometime, like next year, usually.
Yeah, it would be
Okay.
interesting to see.
Yeah. So this is actually synonymizing 3 different taxa, which is great. And also, apparently, they're coelophysoids now, which I did not expect, considering how big and robust they are.
Well, could be very derived, of course.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
leading up to Dilophosaurus, because the paper basically suggests that not sure Dinosaurs basically would be closely related to Dilophosaurus.
Yes. Yeah. It's a coelophysoid related to Dilophosaurus, wetherilli, and coelophysoids. Yes, I'm looking at the abstract now. I believe this would be the first coelophysoid not known from North America, Europe. I believe this would be the first Asian coelophysoid. I think. I mean, considering all the continents would have been connected at the time.
I mean, yeah, obviously. I'm gonna see if
Yeah.
I find something.
No, I don't think so. They're all like you've got from Europe a couple. You've got Dracoraptor from Europe, but nothing else. So it's very interesting stuff.
Yeah, Procomsognathus, also Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm very looking forward.
Africa as well.
Yes, of course.
Megapnosaurus.
Yeah. The Megapnosaurus rhodesiensis, I believe.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because of course
and
there's a big issue with Megapnosaurus, Coelophysis, and quote unquote Syntarsus. But that's for another video.
Yeah, I would have some interesting pictures for Syntarsus, I can say that much.
Yeah. And anyways, we'll leave it at that. Science always marches on, which is great. And I for one, I'm really looking forward to seeing more info on this.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about stuff like that more often, and just 1 week after we say it, a paper comes out that completely defies everything we just talked about.
Yeah. So if that is the case, I mean, we'll probably be like posting small update videos to follow through. Anyways, that was it. Goodbye for real now, and we'll see you in the next one.
Until we update again.
Yep, or until the next update. Bye.